And
fantastic, we're good to go. Hello, welcome to Engage TV, another episode from Australia. We're here in Melbourne again. My name's Jamie Geraint-Siotis. Imagine you were tasked with setting up social media for your nation's telecommunications company. Pretty massive task for even the most experienced communicator. It's a task that was undertaken by my guest today. Her name is Kristen Boschma from Telstra, Australia's largest telco. Kristen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Pleasure.
Firstly, a little bit about your time in communications, your role at Telstra, and the role more broadly, I guess, of your team within Telstra.
Sure. So I'm what you would call a career marketer. So I've had about 2 decades of communication experience. Hooray! And my role is head of social media and online communications for Telstra. My team looks after what we call organic conversation and organic search. And we look after, customer flow of information throughout several digital properties. So the main things that we have at our disposal are blogs, websites, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and forums.
Fantastic. Now, if we were to look at kind of the inventory of what's done internally and externally, and I know it's pretty huge because it is such a massive company within Australia, and even on a global level for telecommunications, what would we see? We're talking about customer service internal. We were talking before about Yammer and Yabba. What's kind of the spectrum of the communications mechanisms that you've got in place?
Yeah, so pretty much if you can conceive it, we've got it. We use everything. We're very experimental, and with that attitude of 1,000 flowers can bloom, it means that you take an experimental and an innovative approach. But it also means that you risk things defraying, and you risk things perhaps lacking focus. So we're in a phase now of consolidating. I'm a big believer in critical mass. So externally you would see us on, as I said, Twitter, Facebook, forums, sites. Internally we have obviously we have several thousand users of Yammer, our own proprietary system Yabba, just to confuse matters, and also an ideas generation site called T-Ideas, where employees can put in ideas on how they think the company could be improved, and then those ideas are voted on. The most voted ideas rise to the top. Those ideas are then skimmed off and presented to an investment committee, and then our money is put back into those ideas to make sure that they come to life.
So empowering the ideas from within the company.
Absolutely. Encouraging ideas, empowering ideas, but mainly putting action around those ideas is very important.
We were discussing over coffee before the pride that I guess all the employees at Telstra have in the social media policy. And obviously it must have been a really big culture shift when all these mechanisms came into play for the company. How did you empower at the start all your employees to become engaged not only with each other but externally?
So I should probably clarify that there are a lot of employees who are really proud of our work in the social media sphere, but like any cross-section of the community and in life, there are people who don't embrace social media, don't have a Facebook profile. I know, they're out there. And people who have never tweeted in their life and absolutely eschew LinkedIn. So those people are fine. We still require them to go through a training process so that they understand what it is. But you're never going to win all the hearts and all the minds of all the people. So what we do is we're very clinical, if you like, in that we focus on the people who are into it and who will embrace social media. And what we said, I think, early on was really important, and we took a very broad and I think a very correct philosophical approach, which is that we are a telecommunications company, and we touch the lives of 21 million people in Australia. Everyone in Australia is affected by Telstra's network in some way or another. So if we're not into social media, then what are we here for? Because our company provides the network and provides the systems that make social media go. So if you like, Telstra being interested in social media is like a chef eating his own food, So
an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah, so we like social media, and we like what it does, and we like connecting people, and we also like the fact that we go where our customers go. So many of our customers are on social media sites, and we need to be where our customers are at.
Absolutely.
So that was a really important philosophical decision. And then what we did was we went, okay, fine, so what we need to do is give our employees some guardrails around their use of social media. So we have our 3 R's policy, which I can talk about in more detail, but basically it's a policy that says you've got to respect other people online, you have to take responsibility for your tweets or Facebook updates, and you must, you've got to be representative, so you've got to represent that you work for Telstra when you're talking about Telstra.
So respect, responsibility and representative.
Yep, representation. And then so we went, okay, so what's the point of having a policy if no one knows it or they're not going to comply? So we made it mandatory, a mandatory policy for everyone, so 40,000 employees to learn, own and sit a test on and pass. So then the logistics around training 40,000 people on a social media policy kick in, and that's quite onerous.
It's huge.
So we did an online training course in the style of a comic book magazine. Last year Mashable did a little story on our piece and how we went around about training 40,000 people. And the course takes about an hour, and then you have to set a test, and it's a pass-fail. So what that does is it obviously elevates interest in social media, but it ensures that we have an understanding across the company of what's expected. So you would think that in a company of 40,000 people, that there might be the odd breach of the policy every now and again. There's probably 2 or 3 a month, and that's it. So I think that that's indicative of that the training has gone well, that people understand the importance of the policy and they're sticking to it.
Absolutely. We talked about the numbers, so 21 million. If we're looking at Twitter alone on one of your accounts, the @Telstra account, if you'd like to check it out and follow it, you've got something like 8,000 followers, 20-odd thousand tweets to date. How big is your team that monitors and responds? If we're looking at it kind of purely within, how big is the operation?
Yeah, so just on that, I'm not really concerned about the number of followers that we have on the @Telstra account. It's predominantly a customer service account. So that team of 10 people, so it's only 10, they monitor, they have TweetDeck, and they look at the Telstra stream, and anytime anyone uses the word Telstra in a tweet, they reach out to that person to see if they can help in any way. Obviously it's not any time, it's if the person seems as though they want help. So we're not butting into every conversation. That team looks after Twitter, Facebook, and an ISP forum which is called Whirlpool. And through Google Alerts, they're across any other blogs that might come up where someone might have an issue and they write about their experience. They'll jump in and try and contact that person and offer some help.
And they're on deck Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
That's right.
And on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
And there's about 10 in the team?
There's 10 in the team, and they have a sort of a roster system in terms of who's looking at Twitter, who's looking at Facebook, who's looking at forums, etc. So they're very experienced because they rotate the channels.
We talk about, or we see social media evolving so quickly, case studies popping up about rogue tweets, I guess, and you say you only have kind of 2 to 3 a month of kind of breaches in your policy, which is fantastic across an organisation of 40,000. How do you keep up to date with all these changes in your policies, and how often do you find that you have to update those guidelines?
So that policy is really interesting. We were the first major corporation in Australia to come out with a social media policy, and we review it. We review it every 6 months, and we haven't had to make a change to it because the 3 R's are specific enough that they are sufficient guardrails, but they're broad enough that they cover changes in technology, changes in user behaviour, etc. So we did a good job, I think, early on of setting up that policy.
Quickly returning to the idea of rogue tweets, we were discussing earlier that you actually empower and encourage people to tweet on behalf of the company from their personal account. So, they don't have to go behind an @Telstra account. Obviously, there are people behind those services, but your CEO blogs actively under the company, and you encourage all your employees to do the same and get involved.
Yep. Yeah. We really want social media to be a part of the way people enjoy their jobs. So I really want people to, if they are proud of something that Telstra has done, I want them to feel as though that's worth tweeting about and it's worth talking to their friends about. We have, again, one of Australia's leading blogs, and it's at exchange.telstra.com. And
check it out.
Yeah, please. And our CEO regularly blogs. A lot of our senior executives blog on that site, and we have three broad topics. One is just technology in general, so it doesn't have to be about anything that we're selling. So our CEO has just come back from the World Mobile Congress in Barcelona, and he blogged about some trends that he saw as a result of that Congress. Our Chief Technology Officer, Hugh Bradlow, blogs regularly on all sorts of issues to do with technology, and it's not necessarily anything we sell or will profit from, it's just that, we're technology geeks and we're proud of it.
And driving conversations again in the sector.
Yeah, and that's true, and many of our customers love technology also, so we want to connect with them on that level. And then we have another section which is Telstra News, so we blog about Telstra and what we're doing and what we're up to. And then the last section is community, and that's about Telstra's role in the community and the organisations that we support, but also we encourage people to talk about their role in the community and what they're doing and organisations that they support. So we want to try and give a voice and a platform to organisations that might not be able to afford publicity in any other way. We have about 65 staff who are bloggers for Telstra, and we have catch-ups with them once a month where we give them tips and training on how to become a better blogger. And we share with them worldwide trends in blogging and try and keep their interest up. And for quite a few of those people, what's lovely is that they have gone from being, perhaps in one person's example I can think of, someone who's doing a job in a call centre, to someone who works in a call centre but they're also a blogger on Telstra Exchange, and so it's added another dimension to their job, and they're so proud of what they do and that they have a voice and that they can share their passion and share what they know. So it's a really lovely way of giving people an avenue to express their passion.
And I think that pride and the sheer scale of what's happened at Telstra is what makes it such a fascinating case study, and the fact that it's continually growing. If we're looking into the future, and it's a final question, I know it's all very unknown with all the changes, but if you were to look 2 to 5 years, perhaps into the future, into the crystal ball, where would you like to see social media at Telstra going?
That's a good question, and I ask myself that a lot. I think what we need to do is now focus on user-generated content. I think that inviting our community to share their life, their stories, their content, their opinions, I think is the future. So we had a program where we got 25 handsets. It was for the HTC Desire, and we gave those handsets to 25 people, and we said, okay, review that handset, but you've got to do it via social media. So that was a really fantastic exercise, and so I think there'll be a lot more of that. I also think that within a year, so much shorter than that, I really like to encourage conversation. So when you go to telstra.com, our main website, I'd like you to be able to see what people are saying about Telstra and join in the conversation. So I think social media will become, if you like, an immersive part of every online touch point, rather than a distinct niche for those people who are into Facebook. I think that we can really share opinion and generate conversation and have many more people involved in the conversation.
Look, we really do look forward to seeing it evolve and grow.
Thank you.
Kristen, thank you so much for your time this morning. If you'd like to reach out and join the conversation at Telstra and also to connect with Kristen, her Twitter handle is @Kristen_Boschma, KRISTEN_BOSCHMA.
Oh, well done.
How's that for spelling? Also, as Kristen mentioned, it's telstra.com, so you'll find links there to Telstra Exchange, the blog, also the customer service account. So it is a fascinating case study from down here in Australia, and one that I'd encourage you to have a look at if you've got the time. I hope you enjoyed. If you do, thanks again for joining us. Until next time, stay well. We'll see you very soon on Engage TV from Down Under.
See you on Twitter.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.